The art and science of rapport. Well, that's probably the most important thing in sales. Well, before we get to it, make sure you go to universalaccountingcenter.com. Check out our tax program, bookkeeping program, advisory program. You get coaches afterward. I mean, it's phenomenal. But it's cool. Almost 50 years. Long time. All right, so go over there and check us out. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I mean, all we do is win over here. I'm sure you're starting to see that. So what brought you to this video today was you're probably new to bookkeeping or tax advisory, or maybe you've been doing this a long time and you're just having trouble connect with people and actually close the deal. Well, let me tell you something. Most salespeople will never understand. And yes, you are a salesperson, okay? Don't get it twisted. You are a closer. I want to talk about rapport. Rapport is not small talk. Rapport isn't being friendly, and rapport is not saying, how's your day going? I call that amateur hour. That's amateur behavior. When someone's talking to me and they ask me how, it just feels weird, right? What do you mean, how's my day going? I'm here for something, right? Rapport is the ability to enter someone's world and understand how they think, how they feel, and then guide them to a decision that changes their life. And if you don't master this, you'll always have a hard time closing deals. You're always going to feel like you're chasing people. But when you do, people start leaning in. They're going to open up. And when you get people to close themselves by talking and them selling themselves, they're talking, they're selling themselves, what ends up happening is they close themselves. So as always, grab a pencil and paper. We're going to have some fun in this video today. Why rapport is everything? Well, number one, every sale is emotional first, logical second, and then it becomes emotional right before the close. I really don't care what you're selling, whether it's accounting services, coaching, software, whether you watch these and you're in solar or car sales, like whatever it is, it doesn't matter. People do not buy because your offer is better, okay? They buy because they trust you more. And trust is built through one thing, rapport. When people feel heard and understood, they start to open up more. And when I have no rapport, what that does is it creates resistance. Okay, and weak rapport always will create objections. And what does great rapport do? It's an easy close. A close should always feel natural and non-transactional. Well, how do I get to that point? It's through connection, right? And open-ended questions, confirm and expand. So rapport is everything. The better the rapport, the easier the close. And that's the most important thing. A good book to even check out is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And that will teach you the art of rapport. Obviously, by the time you're done with this video, you'll be a master of rapport. But let's write down the art of rapport. Let's start with the art here, people. The art is so important because it's the feeling of the sale. There's an art and there's a science to it. Well, the art is the feeling. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, write this down, is present. Present. Most bookkeepers, tax preparers, advisors, and sales reps, you're not present in the conversation. That's part of the problem, right? What I mean by that is you're thinking about your script. You're thinking about the next question. You're thinking about the close. You're thinking about the results. And because of that, you miss everything. But when you're an elite closer, you're a bookkeeper, but your identity should be that, yes, I'm an elite closer, right? Because how else are you going to make money? If you don't close deals, you're not, right? Elite closers, they're locked in. They hear tone shifts. They catch hesitation. They feel emotion. And being present is powerful. Presence is power. So, guys, if you're not fully there, people can feel it. I know when I'm talking to someone, I can tell when they're doing something else, right? I can tell when their mind is wandering. And if you're doing a Zoom meeting, boy, I can see it in the eyes, right? I can see it in your eyes what's going on. So that's a huge problem. So being present is everything. Remember, yesterday is a figment of our imagination. It's the past. It's imaginary. It's over with. The future is dictated by what we do today. So the more present we are, the better off we're going to be in the future. Let's go ahead and move to the next section, tonal control. Guys, your tone is more important than your words. Your tone. So think about it like this, right? You can say the exact same sentence 3 different ways and get 3 completely different reactions. Nervous tone equals no authority. Pushy tone equals resistance. Calm, certain tone equals trust. Okay? So if I'm nervous, not confident, they know I don't know my stuff. If I'm being salesy and pushy and right? Resistance. But if I'm conversing with someone the correct way, what it does is builds trust. You want to slow it down. You want to pause more. Speak like you don't need the sale. That's when people start leaning in. Now, when I train like a psycho. I'm like a tiger, and you're dangling fresh meat over me. But when I'm on the phone, I'm like a lamb, right? And so your tone can either make you or break you, right? So your tone is huge. You want people to lean in to what you're saying, and you can use your octane of your voice. You can bring it up, you can bring it down. You can say things with a concerned tone to make them kind of explain themselves a little bit more. All of these things, right? So your tone's huge, guys. This is really big. It should be number 1, but I think everything's number 1, right? Everything's number 1. You got to be the best at every aspect of this. So, anyways, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, right? You have to be able to take it, right? Rudeness, arrogance, hang-ups, all of that. But more importantly, you need to be able to read people in real time. Are they guarded? Are they skeptical? Are they excited, overwhelmed? You need to really use everything that you're trained on and diagnose the situation and see where this person's at, right? And most reps ignore this. And what they do is they run the same script on everyone, guys. And that's why you lose people. You adjust based on the person, and that's the art, right? It's being the chameleon. This person's slow down. This person's a slow speaker, slow motion. They're moving like they're in water. I need to slow it down. This person's high pace. I need to pick it up. Maybe it's blue. They're analytical. Maybe it's green. You know, they really are slow and methodical, and they're reserved and introvert. Yellow, bubbly, blah, blah, right? Red, assertive, blue, analytical, all these things, right? You diagnose and you match. Authenticity. People can smell it if it's fake. We know if it's fake, right? You probably watch my videos. You can tell I'm actually intense, right? I'm not faking being intense, right? Well, people can smell that crap on you too, right? So if you're pretending to care, if you're forcing energy, if you're trying to sound like a salesperson, I want you to know that you're going to lose them instantly, okay? The best closers, they're themselves. They're authentic. They're real, okay? They speak directly to the person. They build a connection, and they say things that others won't say. And I think being uncommon in a world where everyone is so common, that's the great separator, right? So saying things other people won't say, having audacity, that's probably what's going to build the most connection, honestly. You want to be uncommon in a world of common people. What we're going to tackle next in this video, the science of rapport. The science of rapport. Now let's get into the science. Bring out the lab coat. What are those things called? The test tubes, all of that. Because this is where it becomes predictable, right? Labeling. Let's write this down. Labeling is an elite skill, okay? When you label someone's emotion, what you're doing is you're creating instant connection. Here's an example. Remember, you can take what I'm saying from these word tracks, and if it was me, I would use them. I can't stress that enough. Examples. Here we go. John, it sounds like you've been trying to figure this out for a while. John, it really seems like you're frustrated with your current situation. Am I wrong? John, it feels like you don't want to make the wrong decision here. Am I right? Well, what happens when you ask those questions and you use the right tone? Their brain, finally, someone gets me. Literally, like they feel heard and understood. He disarmed the crap out of them at that point. They're going to vomit at the mouth. Walls come down. That's what it's all about. Is when you can feel that shift and then it opens up like a floodgate. Man, it's nuts, right? The next thing that you need to write down is mirroring. I need to be able to mirror. But listen, you don't copy like a robot. It's subtle, but it's not obvious, okay? What you need to match is speed, energy, communication style. So if they're analytical, you get precise. If they're emotional, you lean into feelings, okay? And if they're fast, you need to tighten up that delivery. Then you're going to lead them. So what you should write down right here is I want to match, I want to build comfort, and then I want to lead them to the decision. All right? And the better I can match, build comfort, and lead to the decision, I don't know, boom, revenue increases, right? Firm's growing. Sales are rolling in, right? You need to write this down, controlled questioning. Guys, questions are not for information. The reason that you're struggling with your sales right now and you're struggling to onboard new clients is because you're info dumping. Go check my video out. It's called Stop Info Dumping, right? And what you need to do is offer controlled questions. And questions are not for information. What they are for transformation. And bad reps ask surface questions. Elite reps, yes, you're a sales rep. Why? Because you're a firm owner. Just got to start accepting that reality. Elite closers are elite accountants, right? And vice versa. So anyway, elite reps ask the questions that reveal pain. So write this down. I need to be able to reveal pain, okay? I need to be able to expand the pain. And I need to be able to take that pain and tie it to consequences. So an example progression of like what that would actually look like for you would be like, what's your goal? Okay, well that's pretty basic. What's been stopping you from hitting that? That's deeper, right? How long has that been an issue? Now it has weight. What happens if nothing changes? Now it's emotional. Okay, so now they're invested, right? The next thing I call this is the 70-30 rule. The 70-30 rule, okay? You got to let them talk, right? If you talk too much, actually, you've done such a great job of building rapport, but when you overspeak, you actually kill rapport. Because people don't feel understood when you're doing all the talking. I mean, that's impossible. So you got to let them explain. You got to let them vent. And you got to let them think out loud, right? Remember, your job is to guide. Your job is not to dominate, okay? Your job is to guide. Your job is to not, you already called it, not dominate. Okay? When I hear these conversations and like 30 minutes of the presentation was the accountant explaining their services and their benefits, like, dude, you're killing it. You're blowing it for yourself. So you can't do that. The next thing, agreement loops. So you build micro agreements throughout the call. All right? And let me give you some examples of what those kind of look like. Let's make sure we're writing these down, okay? So you build micro commitments throughout the call. That makes sense, right? And you see what I'm saying? That's what you want, correct? Now they're saying yes over and over. So by the time they've already agreed with you 10 times, it's kind of hard to say no down at the close, okay? So the very next thing is, hold on 1 second here. All right, sorry about that. We've already agreed with you 10 times, right? It's hard to say no's, but you do want some no's in there. I always think that's super important. And then for the next thing, rapport into control, right? So here's what most people get wrong. They think rapport is just being nice. No, rapport gives you control. Because once someone feels understood, they trust your guidance, right? Now you can challenge them. You can push them. You can close them without resistance. Let's write this down. Section 5, what kills rapport? Let's clean this up, all right? We got to clean this up. This is what's destroying your sales. So I need you to go ahead and write this down. Let's write this down. Talking too much. Okay, that's killing your report. Talking too much. Rushing into the pitch, ignoring emotions, asking robotic questions, sounding scripted, needing to sell. Desperation kills rapport instantly. So, section 6, elite flow. Guys, this is the game. This is how it actually works at a high level. We got rapport, pain, expansion, vision, close. But here's the key. You're building rapport throughout the entire process, not just in the beginning. Right? So if you master the art, people feel safe with you. If you master the science, you guide them exactly where they need to go. Put them together. Now you're just not a salesperson or a bookkeeper. You're a closer. You're someone people trust and want to make decisions with. And that's where the money is. So if you like this video, you felt bought in, you loved it, you were rolling through it the whole time, make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to see you in the next one. I expect to hear these on your next call, guys.